All right, in today's video, we're gonna show you how to make this into this. Let's get to it. All right, so here you get some videos of the bed and how it looks. I don't think it was Rhino liner, some other kind of spray on bed liner, but it didn't do very good. There's not much left of it on the bottom. It's pretty much we're just gonna be taking off the sides. And I don't know if I'll take it all the way down to bare metal. We'll see how easy it comes off. But as long as it's on there good and there's something for the new paint to bite on, we're gonna throw texture over it anyway, so you're not gonna be able to tell. Make sure that you tape off the truck really good. You don't want any sandblast media getting anywhere on the paint or overspray. The whole truck's getting painted, so it really doesn't matter. I'll probably be putting a cover just to cover the back glass, because it's kind of the only thing I really care about that's in the way of that might get scratched up. So here you can see more of the bed. Looks pretty bad, a little bit moldy. And we'll go over the Raptor kits. They both come with the gun. It's just what they had in stock locally. And to be honest, use a new gun every time if you're going to spray a different day, because I've had a lot of times where in the middle of the job a little piece of the old dried up Raptor comes off and ruins your job. So if you're gonna do it twice, the guns are cheap, just buy another one. Here is the attachment that goes on the tip of the pressure washer. There's the tip. Your hose here, it's gonna go right here, and this hose is gonna go in the bucket, which is right here. And make sure the sand is dry. The best sand I've found, and it's fine. You don't want to get the general sand because it'll have little small pieces of rock. You get the play sand, is the finest one. And another key thing, which I've seen a lot of people, and that's what they complain about, the performance of this. This always has to stay up or sideways, but you cannot have it like this, because when you shut it off, you're gonna have water that's gonna drip into here, and it's gonna make mud in the tube, and then it's never gonna get hard. You're gonna have to clean it all out. So you just want to make sure that hose is always above the water. So let me get everything connected, and we'll set the phone up and start blasting. Here you can see I put a cardboard over the back glass. And another tip, how this truck has a rake, put the front up wheels on some ramps. That way you can see now the truck has a little slant, so all that sandy water will drip off the back. If not, you're just gonna get a big old pool of sand there in the front. It's gonna make a bigger mess. It is dustless, but it does make a mess, so do it far away from anything you don't want sand on. So let me set the phone up and I'll start doing that back wall. Another thing I forgot to mention, make sure your sand is 100% dry. It can't be wet. And after pouring the play sand, I think I've had some trouble with this one. You can see these little tiny rocks in it. That will sometimes clog the tip. It's the pool filter sand that has no rocks. So get the pool filter sand, not the play sand. It's a little bit more expensive, but it saves you frustration. And make sure you put the bucket somewhere that is not going to get wet. So I'll probably put it up on the roof. I don't really care about the paint. Make sure it stays dry. Make sure you got safety glasses, and you're probably going to want to wear some kind of nice shoes so you don't get your feet scratched up. But I'm just going to do it in Crocs. So let's get started. Alright, so about after 20 minutes with the sandblaster, I just decided to scrap that. I was using way too much sand. It wasn't really going fast enough. You can see up there, that's the front piece is pretty much what I did the majority with the sand. and you can see it's much lighter than it was before. But the sand, what it was starting to do is lifting large pieces. It was kind of making more work for later, so I'm gonna have to scrape and kind of even this all out tomorrow. But the pressure washer still did a pretty good job at getting rid of any loose pieces. So tomorrow I just gotta feather all these things out where the loose bed liner was, like here too. So I'll probably go over the whole bed tomorrow with like a wire wheel on the grinder. And you can see the sides are much lighter because the pressure washer takes whatever loose bed liner right off. So seems like a pretty good base to be able to spray on top of. So tomorrow we'll hit everything with a wire wheel, feather out all these edges here. That way you don't see them. Because if you just spray it like this, you're gonna see that area. So we'll try to feather it out some and make sure we got all the loose bed liner off. And in that corner over there, there's like some buildup in the corner we're gonna have to figure out how to take off. And back over here, it's peeling up here, peeling off up here. I was trying to pressure wash this whole piece off, which it did on this side. You see it, the whole thing cleaned right off. So you just want to take off what's loose. You're going to be spraying black texture on top of it anyways, so you're really not going to be able to tell the texture underneath. So we'll let it dry. Tomorrow we will do some more prep and we'll start spraying. Alright, so day 2, the bed is dry. It looks pretty good. I'm going to take all the rusted areas off with the wire wheel and the angle grinder. We'll see if it'll feather these areas where it's peeling out, or if I have to use a flapper wheel. Let me set the phone up and get started. Forgot from the beginning, get some earplugs, this gets pretty loud. Alright, we finished wire brushing all the bed. I'm not trying to remove it, I'm just trying to remove any of the loose pieces, all the loose pieces that were here. When the wire wheel hits them, they all come off. You can see here also, it kind of feathers them out, so there's no more loose pieces everywhere that had rust. I hit it, probably got it hit here, missed here, and right there. But you can see pretty much all the rusty areas. I kind of hit them, feather them out. Let me hit these 2 spots I missed over here, and then I'll blow the bed out. Alright, you see I hit these up. These are really hard because the thing doesn't really fit with this here, so I might have to use the drill. But you see how it's peeling up? That's what you want to get rid of. You want it all to be hard with no spots that are peeling up. That's what's going to cause it to peel. Alright, another thing I did here was I ground all the bed liner off here because that's where I want the paint line. I don't want the bed liner and paint to match up here because I've seen a lot of times it starts peeling off the top. So we're going to do a little bit lower, and it's probably going to have a bed cover on it anyways. And I'm going to be welding up these holes here. I got some bolt heads because it's a pretty big hole to just weld up. That I'll be shoving in the holes and then welding from the top and grinding smooth. So let me get those done and I'll show you what it looks like. Alright, so here's what I did. I got these carriage bolts. I grinded the top smooth, got all the coating off of them. And then from the bottom, shoved them in from the bottom, and I'll just weld around the hole, grind it smooth, and then the body shop will finish it off. Alright, I got all the top holes welded in. You see here. I'll have to finish it off with a little bit of mud. And gotta do those 2 up there. I flapper wheeled all the rusty areas to get nice bright steel. And again, this bed's all beat up. I'm not gonna go crazy prepping it. It ain't never gonna look good. I just want to look better. So if you have a bed in decent shape, I would spend a little bit more time maybe trying to take all the stuff off, because the texture is probably not gonna be 100% even. But it's just gonna look a lot better than this. On this side here, you can see also all the holes been filled in. And I also welded in, seems like they just drilled self-tapping screws anytime they had to hold anything down, but there was a hole right here, over there in the same spot. There was a hole right there, and a hole right there. There was a hole right there, and 2 holes right there. So I welded all those up, try to make it look a little nicer. So let me wash it up. I'm gonna wash it with some degreaser and a rag now, and wait a little bit for it to dry 100%, and then put some epoxy primer down. All right, here we got the bed ready, all prepped up. Everything's clean. It's been drying in the sun for a couple hours. Up here, I think it was in the shade. I'm gonna hit it a little bit with a torch just to make sure all that's dry. I'll show you the tailgate. Here's the tailgate. I completely took off up here. It had like a little ridge, so I took all that out. I'll probably go about halfway. And on the sides, I usually like to do body lines, tape lines, and I'll spray all the way to the bottom. And there was some bed liner on this piece, but I don't want any bed liner on there. The bed liner is just gonna stop right here. So let me get everything taped up and masked off, and then we'll start shooting the epoxy primer. All right, I got everything masked off, ready to shoot the primer. I got this blanket in here so I could get in there without dirtying the bed. Spray the front half, and then I'll take it out to finish the back half. If you're not gonna paint the truck, you gotta cover it a whole lot better than this. I don't mind getting overspray anywhere. They gotta sand a bunch and do a bunch of body work, so I'm gonna spray the primer, and I'll probably spray primer on this top cap also, and then I'll tape up this edge here, which I didn't want paint, and that front edge there, and then I'll spray the bed liner. So let me set the phone up and start mixing paint. All right, we're gonna start shooting the primer. Alright, so this is the epoxy primer. It's also made by Raptor, the anti-corrosive epoxy primer. And if you read the Raptor liner, it also says that helps with adhesion. I had it from a last project I did, so I didn't have to buy it because I think that's almost 100 bucks. And these are the results of what it looks like after the primer. So hopefully I'll get at least an even color. I won't have that black white. And here's the bed. So we'll see how it comes out. Hopefully it has somewhat of an even texture and not so much this splotchiness. So we'll see what it looks like when the first coat goes down. And I'll probably also be getting a bed mat just to hide all these dents because the bed's kind of beat up, and that will help with any scratching or chipping on the deck. Alright, so let this flash off and I'll come back and we'll start spraying the Raptor. Alright, so the primer this is after 1 hour. It's still slightly tacky, but it's mostly dry to the touch. I put a piece of the plastic sheeting so I can walk to the front to spray the front, and you can see here where I covered the piece I don't want to get bed liner on. Did it to the other side as well, and I did it to this front top piece and that piece there. It's gonna get overspray on the outside, but they're gonna sand everything. They gotta do a bunch of body work here to get rid of the line that old plastic left, because I don't want any plastic. So I'm gonna get my wife and then we'll start spraying it out. Alright, so here's the new Raptor kit. It's been about 6 months since I've used the kit, and this looks like a new kit. They finally came out and gave you a measuring cup instead of just going up to this line, which sometimes is hard to see. So I thought that was kind of nice. And they all come with a gun now, and it's actually made by U-Pole. Before it was a custom coat gun. This gun looks a little bit better made, and the nozzle comes out a little bit easier than the old gun, which I ended up throwing my old one away. And that's just the regulator I had on the other one. So let me get mixing up and we'll start shooting. I got 4 cords so far. That's 1 kit. I bought 2 kits. I'm probably gonna have to end up using 6. The other ones will be to spray my dad's truck. We gotta do my dad's truck as well. It looks like they put like some cheap roll-in bed liner in it. So let me get the phone to my wife and we'll start spraying. So here it is after 1 coat. It looks 100 times better. Probably half the dents look like they've gone. They're just kind of blend now. And you can see the texture is pretty even. So far it was not super even as a gloss, but as it dries it usually gets better. But you see that texture looks pretty good. Tailgate. It looks splotchy, but it's just a gloss, because you see when I come close, it's all pretty even. So I'm gonna let this flash off and then we'll spray a second coat. Alright, so here it is after the second coat. The sheen is a lot more even now. We'll see how it looks like tomorrow morning. Here I got a little water drop out of the water separator. We'll see how that looks tomorrow. Everything came out really nice. Try to pull the tape off as soon as you're done That way you get nice clean lines, because if it hardens too much, it starts pulling off when you pull the tape off. But there you can see the texture. Look how uniform that looks compared to what it was before. Here's the sides. Fender wells, you see they're pretty uniform. I mean, the truck looked like it had a lot more dents before, so I'm really happy with it. I mean, that wheel was pretty banged up. That one's in a lot better shape. But this whole area here was covered in dents, and really, you can't see that many of them anymore. Here's the tailgate, how it came out. Look how even that finish is. I painted the whole bottom, and then this is going to be body cutter. That always gets scratched up with rocks. And then you see here, I followed the tailgate skin, and the rest will be painted. And just to show you how much stays in those bottles, each bottle painted one of these planks of what stayed in that bottle. Just put the bottle upside down, banged it around, and spread it with a brush. We'll test the durability of it on wood using it as a workbench. We'll see how it holds up, and it's gonna be in the sun also. So let's let this dry overnight. I'll do another video tomorrow morning, and we'll see how it looks in the morning. All right, so here we are the next day. You can see the finish is much more even now that it's fully dry. Now you can see a little bit more of the old texture underneath it. You can see here on the tailgate. It's like a really porous bed liner. I don't know what it was, but I mean, it looks 1,000 times better than what it looked like. So we'll see how the durability goes. I'll do a follow-up video maybe in a couple months. We'll see if it holds up, make sure it doesn't peel or anything like that. But whoever has a shitty bed liner, this is definitely a way to make it look much better, make the truck more presentable. And if you're gonna paint the truck, I recommend doing it before, because I'd rather have overspray in my bed liner than bed liner on my truck. So you can see out here, if you don't cover it, you're gonna get bed liner on the outside. So that's pretty much it. Like and subscribe to follow the builds. It's gonna be going to the body shop soon. We're gonna be dropping the back another 3 inches, putting some 22x10s, doing a interior swap. We're going from that blue gray, we're gonna do a light gray and black, switch it all power, paint match everything. So the truck should be a nice little daily driver. All right, like and subscribe, guys.